time to fill in a few years between high school and making a living. Some of these young old men have already lived more than I ever will. And even the inevitable few who are here to avoid work are affected in spite of themselves by the veterans and the ones who are playing for keeps. That's why I like my job more than I ever did. And that's why I wish those... What time is it?
It's 3:37. How did you say you'll be notified?
Well, I've only been reappointed once, you know, so the procedure is not exactly traditional. On that occasion, I was notified in person by two members of the board. Merriweather, whom I like and admire, and Mr. Wellman, who is, in my considered opinion, a stinker.
Is there any doubt in your mind that you will be reappointed?
I'd be an idiot to take it for granted. Reappointment means a salary increase.
Oh, Toddy, how wonderful.
Yes, and a salary increase naturally brings out the watchdog instincts of the conservative members.
You mean that some of them would actually fire their president just to save a few miserable dollars?
Vicky, I love you very deeply, but you are shamefully ignorant of some of life's basic facts.
I know, dear, but...
The Board of Governors is made up largely of wealthy men, retired industrialists, philanthropists. Dissimilar as they are, they have one trait in common. None of them sees anything miserable about a dollar. Furthermore...
Telephone, dear. Toddy, aren't you going to answer it?
Let it ring.
But, darling, the governors...
But the governors are hard to take. Let me play hard to get.
I was curious. I tasted it. Now I know why Schlitz is the beer that made Milwaukee famous.
In just a moment, we'll return to the Halls of Ivy, starring Mr. and Mrs. Ronald Coleman. There's just time now for you to hear how one man learned something very interesting. Here are his own words.
Well, my story is about a neighbor who isn't a neighbor and a front porch that's really a penthouse, and how I first came to taste Schlitz beer. You see, every night I sit out on my terrace and watch the stars blink, just like I used to from my front porch back home. But it isn't the same because although my next-door neighbor sits on his terrace just 3 feet in a flower box away, we never speak. I know that he lounges in an old tweed jacket and has a hard time keeping his pipe lit and turns to the sports page first, and I don't even know his name. Yet I owe him a great deal of pleasure. You see, every night I used to watch him come out with a huge sandwich and a bottle of beer. And every time he sipped that beer, there was always the same expression on his face. Complete satisfaction. So I made a point of looking at the label every time, and it was always Schlitz. Well, I couldn't help wondering what there was about a beer to make a man look so pleased every time he tasted it. I bought some Schlitz, and I found out all right. Now we sit there just 3 feet away, both with our bottles of Schlitz, both with that same pleased look on our faces. No wonder they call Schlitz the beer that made Milwaukee famous.
Surround us here today.
As we rejoin the Halls of Ivy, pardon me, the phone's ringing.
There's the telephone again, William. That's the third call. I think you've taught them a lesson.
Oh, very well. Dr. Hall's residence. Oh, yes. Yes. Bad news, you say? Well, frankly, I rather expected it. Well, thank you for calling. Yes, as soon as I can. Goodbye.
I'm sorry, dear.
Well, it can't be helped. I suppose I was lucky to get the one I really wanted.
The one... What do you mean? What did they say?
Well, they said they just got the copy of Wiener's book on cybernetics I ordered. 2 of the others I wanted are out of print.
The Board of Governors said that?
Oh, no. The campus bookshop. Remind me to pick... Oh. You thought...
Yes. I thought they'd let you go. You know, it wouldn't be so terrible, would it? You could take a nice, long vacation.
Could you use another adjective? Well, such as brief or enjoyable or the usual well-earned?
Oh, you wouldn't be out of work very long, darling. You're a good college president. You're the best college president I know.
Thank you. But I'm afraid your limited experience... Was that the phone?
Was what the phone, dear?
I thought I heard the phone. Oh. What time is it?
It's 4 minutes to 4.
Get your coat and let's go for a walk.
But Toddy, William, what of the Board of Governors? I mean, if they should call while we're out...
Let them find me. One of the janitors on Fraternity Row has a bloodhound. They can track me down.
We can't do it, William. We can't meet rudeness with rudeness.
No. All right. As usual. My father used to say that the real test of manners was being able to meet bad ones with good ones. But what the devil do they find to discuss all the afternoon? I'll bet Wellman has something to do with this.
Mr. Wellman, the stinker.
Mr. Wellman, the revolving stinker. He's a stinker any way you look at it.
Just exactly. What does the fragrant Mr. Wellman do for a living?
Well, my personal opinion is that he waylays little children on their way to the candy store and steals their pennies. But according to various other sources of information, he is a soup magnate.
Soup?
Soup. I suspect that his grandmother was a witch and invented a broth which became a family recipe. I'm afraid to eat any. I might turn into a frog. And I can't swim.
Don't be bitter, dear. After all, you don't have to have this job.
No, we could hitchhike out to California and pick fruit. Follow the harvest. Do ladders make you nervous?
No, not a bit. Do you remember Lulu's mad moment? Oh, no, of course you don't, dear. It just played for 3 nights in Golders Green, I think. But I was Lulu, and I spent most of the second act on a ladder singing interminable choruses of "Ooh, oh, that an helping hand."
Sounds like a resounding success.
It was a dismal mistake. The critics, however...
Well, it's about time. Now, shall I accept the reappointment, or shall we pick apricot?
Oh, just play hard to get for 10 or 15 seconds, dear, and then give in gracefully.
And Dr. Hall's residence? Yes? Oh. Well, that's quite all right. Not at all. Goodbye. Wrong number. What time is it?
2 minutes after 4. And stop pacing, Toddy. Remember, I don't mind ladders.
Very well. Lulu. May I call you Lulu?
It would be a little presumptuous. You never saw me as Lulu, which you may count among your blessings.
I saw you as Mary and Give Them Tears in London. That's all any man could ask.
Give Them Tears. Oh, I'd love to play it again. It was a lovely play, wasn't it, darling?
If you do it again, I'd like to play the vicar. Well, I could do it, you know. I saw it 27 times.
And you bought your own tickets on a professor's salary.
My sabbatical year turned out to be a theatrical 5 months. You were very kind to the visiting American, Vicky.
The visiting American was very refreshing, Toddy. There was fun, teaching her how many shillings in a pound, how to eat fish and chips, a Lambeth walk.
Had you noticed me in the audience, ever? I mean, before...
Oh, my dear. I saw you every time after the first one. And then, the night my maid told me there was a gentleman.
Miss, there's a Mr. Hall wants to see you. A Yank by the looks of him.
What does he want, Penny?
I don't know, he didn't say, but he's a pleasant-spoken man and nice-looking. None of the ordinary runner-back stagers.
Oh, I'll see you.
Yes, miss.